Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Half Solutions podcast. I know it sounded like I was going to say something completely and utterly epic, but the reality is you guys aren't here for epic. You're here for actual good information. Is that right, Sean?
No, we're here for epic stuff and good information. I'm just
Oh,
going to leave it out there. No,
I
Happy New Year's.
stand corrected. Yes, and Happy New Year's, guys. I think it's going to be a great 2026. If you're not familiar with what's been going on lately, we're going to happily talk about some of the things that you need to know. And hey, look, 2025 for everybody was a challenging year. I think that's an understatement for a lot of folks, but I definitely wanted to call it out. What do you think, Sean? You think 2026 is going to be any better?
2026 is going to be on fire. It's going to be great. It's going to be excellent because it's always a new year to start thinking about new ideas, new inspirations, especially those of you that are entrepreneurs. You know, you're in that mindset where you want to do something challenging and new. Well, guess what? Today we got some information to share with y'all that's going to move y'all in that direction. I think so.
Absolutely. No, I think that's absolutely right. And the goal is to make sure that your 2026 is not on fire, but is fire, right? And I think that's important that we make sure to diversify. Look, because there was a lot of people whose 2025 was on fire. And guys, a lot of this comes down to just not knowing what you needed to know to make 2025 successful on the digital frontier. And again, that's what Half Solutions is all about, is trying to bring that to your attention. Not everybody listens. And again, that's why your 2025 wasn't as fantastic as it could have been. That being said, hey, let's talk about something a lot of business owners are kind of worried about right now, right?
Money.
Yeah. And look, guys, as of right now, you guys have probably budgeted out exactly what it is you're going to do with your business for 2026. And if you're really, really doing what you should do, you've budgeted out your ads and how you're going to advertise, right? Maybe not exactly what you're going to advertise, but you know that you need to put money towards it. And we're here today to tell you that it doesn't all have to be what you traditionally think of as advertising online. Let me guess. You think that online advertising is something we call PPC, pay per click, and that's it. You're going to put up an ad, you're going to see it on the side, it's going to be a little picture or display, or you're going to pay for search, on Google. You're going to pay for boosting posts on Facebook. That's all the pay per click game. If you didn't know that, now you do. And I am here to tell you today that the pay-per-click costs are rising and have been all throughout 2025. So if you wondered why you're not getting as much for your pay-per-clicks, that's one aspect. And the second is that you are getting diminishing returns from your traditional advertising, as seen in all these reports out there. It's a wild time.
It is. I'll chime in directly into this. Look, bottom line is you're spending money. And as long as you're willing to spend the money, your ads will continuously do what they need to do. Or we hope they will. But once you stop, that's the issue.
Right.
You haven't focused on brand reliability. You haven't built that credibility. You haven't built that trust. And those are the things that Joe and I really want to talk to you about, is how do you do that in 2026 with the emergence of AI and search engines, with the new ChatGPT browser, where people are focusing more on doing their queries on search. You got to build out a brand. You got to build out that loyalty, right? People got to know who you are, because if you just keep paying, that's not going to be good. So Joe's got the answer. Joe's got all the answers. He told me.
Well, I think we've all got the answers. We just need to pay attention to the answer. And listen, a lot like Sean just said, all these businesses, including yourselves, I'm sure, those who are listening, if you own a business, you're probably asking, well, where should I actually put my money then? And as Sean mentioned, As soon as you stop paying for PPC and these other things, your traffic is going to stop immediately, and that's a big problem. And I wanted to add another thing to that concept as well. The local market has been saturated by big business and the local entities, businesses in those areas for a long time now, and it kind of reached an epic kind of peak in 2024, going all the way through 2025. And so, what you guys got to remember right now is not only are you dealing with a saturated digital ad campaign market, right, from big business all the way down to the small businesses just like yourselves, but you're also dealing with the fact that you have, with the rise of AI, as Sean had just mentioned, another part of that is that you're dealing with a lot of AI, quote unquote, slop that's out there. And the problem is that with that, people are ignoring digital ads more than ever because, well, tons and tons of slop out there. There's so much noise that it's difficult, more difficult than ever, for people just to trust you based off of some advertisement that they saw online. What do you think? Does that sound about right, Sean?
It is. Let's get into it.
Perfect. Well, here's the thing. You're going to need, guys, to think about it this way. The alternative to all of this is going to be evergreen content, content that helps you build trust consistently and hopefully passively, right? One of the best ways you can actually have evergreen content is, believe it or not, reviews. I don't know if you guys ever considered reviews to be content before, but you should because it is. It's a fantastic way for people to passively look, obviously, on your Google profile, or Facebook or wherever your review is going to be at. It's a great way for you to look trustworthy, just from people trying to find you. But here's the thing. You can post your reviews online. You should. In other channels. You should definitely do that because it's a great way of, again, building that trust. And again, we always talk about accuracy being important. That's another thing that you can do to ensure that you are using the alternative to paid ads, right? Listings accuracy, foundational to being found online. That's going to keep people excited for you. The third is going to be social consistency. Again, you're going to be actually posting, not all the time. You don't have to post 3 days, three times a day, guys. You don't have to even post every single day. You just need to post, okay? Because silence is invisibility. It's that simple. You're not going to be seen. You're not going to be found. And if you're not posting, you don't exist. So exist. Post once a week if bare minimum, right? Do what you got to do. And then the last one I'll mention before I let Sean cut in is constant invisibility, man. That works for you 24/7. Again, reviews, social, all of it ties together to be this great digital package for you to help you grow organically.
You hear that silence? You know what that silence is? Those are all the people in the background saying, I just don't have enough time. I don't have time to be able to do it. Well, here's the thing. The more and more you put stuff online, the more and more content you share online, the more and more people see. And here's the interesting part. People don't realize that just because you post right this second, it doesn't mean that people are going to watch this right now or they're going to see this right now. Yep. I'll use TikTok as an example, Joe. Post the video. It was from like 3 months ago. People are still commenting on that. Yep. People are still watching that. They're still watching, as we call, artifacts, right? They're still looking at that. So it's very important for you to continuously put things online. Now, with paid ads, what's the difference? So you put an ad, you build a campaign, you go through your money, you deplete that. What happens to your ad? It goes away. Yep. It's finished. But these things that you post don't go away. That's the fundamental difference. And that's what we're trying to get people to understand is whatever you post online is going to stay online. Unless you delete it.
Well, or unless you're just using the stories that are on Facebook and Instagram and other places, which, Guys, those are useful, but I highly recommend not always using this. But what I want to point out is to really to your point, John. You're absolutely right. It is always going to be there, and I think that's amazing because you're not trying to throw something against the wall to see if it sticks. You're building something so people can stand on it.
So there's something that I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with that are not in the area of dealing with Google Ads and so forth. But what most people don't understand is whenever you search on Google, all of us that are searching on Google, we are all customers of Google. And if you are a customer of Google, what do you want to make sure that your customers get? Good, reliable, credible information. Would you agree, Joe?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
with that being said, there is something called the EAT experience. You familiar with that?
Hmm.
Experience, expertise, authoritiveness, and trustworthy. Those are the combinations of things that you need to show as a business owner when people are searching for whatever that is. So if you're a plumber, you want to be able to show your credibility, you want to be able to show your expertise, you want to be able to show your experience and why people should be going to you versus the plumber down the street. And the holistic aspect is having the reviews like Joe talked about, building out that reputation, right? Posting online, all that stuff counts. Paid ads are good, but these are the things that people don't focus on. And I think the biggest thing that you and I spoke with a couple of clients yesterday was about the parallels between local SEO, your Google business profile, and social media. They all need to be like a symphony, an orchestra, which I know, Joe, you got a background in music, but it's making them all sound in tune. So if you're talking about plumbing on your website, you want to make sure that your social media is about plumbing. It's not about what you ate last night at the crawfish boil. And I see that quite a bit, Joe. I've seen that quite a bit where we see some people where they start posting personal things on their professional Facebook business page.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a no-no. Unless it's part of that. So
you really shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, unless it's applicable. Again, like if you're selling, you're selling something specific to family goods, and you have a family, you don't mind them being an advertising kind of like organic piece to that. You can do that. I wouldn't recommend it, if you're trying to, I don't know, sell pest control poisons. Maybe don't include personal stuff in that, unless it's like you're recommending what you personally use for your yard. See, that's the thing. It has to make sense, right? And be very, very much akin to what you're looking at. And again, guys, think of anything that can be seen as passive. Basically, anything that can be seen as passive advertising devices that you can create that last a long time as being what we're talking about here. Don't think of it exclusively for social posts, Google reviews as well. I definitely wanted to mention that. Like even just having a Google profile, a Google business profile, all right? Even just having that is going to be a great boon to what you're trying to do. So don't just take our word for it though, okay? See, we've been parroting this stuff, I don't know, several years now, if not at least definitely heavily in the past too. All right. And I definitely don't want everybody just to take our word for it, because guess who finally caught up to us? Salesforce. And what's great is they're going, oh, hey, what are they going to have to do, guys? What are they going to have to do? Well, the most popular ways businesses are using AI are, according to Salesforce, running marketing campaigns. Great. Okay. But more importantly, creating content faster, such as blogs, emails, social posts, recommending the right products, making search feel more human, and answering customer questions. And if any of this sounds familiar for any of the people that we have personally talked to and happen to be listening right now, you would be forgiven, because it's 100% what we've been talking about this whole time. They're just now seeing this and going, oh, this is kind of happening. And the goal, guys, is take this as not just as a validation for what we've been saying, and if you've been considering using uh, the practices that we've talked about yourself, but also take this as a warning sign, because unfortunately we're rapidly reaching the point of not being an early adopter anymore. And basically, if you guys are still on the fence on this, don't be for very long, because what you're going to be looking at in the near future are you having to adopt these things just to be able to compete in the digital presence online game. It's proof right here, and it's still early enough for you guys to come in and benefit drastically from it. But eventually, just like not having a website is a kind of a death sentence, I think people have finally figured out in some quarters. It's even more so now, you know. But now we have AI and tools, automation tools specifically, I should say, that are really making that difference. Sean, did I miss anything that really jumped out in the article?
No, I mean here's the bottom line. I think what people need to understand is in the past it was always about ranking number one in Google. That's what it was all about. But really, what this article and this blog and really what we're trying to make people understand is with the emergence of these AI tools and the way it's looking online and analyzing the data, everything counts. Your social media counts. Your blog posting counts. Your credible website counts. Your Google reviews count. The one thing that we haven't talked about, Joe, which is the longevity of people's domains. So this is for those of you that have been in the game for quite a while. Having a domain that's been registered for quite a while also builds credibility, and a lot of people don't realize that. If you're a new business and you register a domain, you register your business, you're new, and you're going to have to crawl. You're going to have to really focus on doing a lot more at the beginning to be able to catch up with these people. And that's the same thing with us when we first started. We didn't have, and every industry is different, and your market's going to be different too. So, Joe, you take on that?
No, 100%. Everybody's got their own specific thing that they need to be looking at when it comes to their industry. And also, I want to point out that everybody's industry, guys, it really dictates how you advertise. And we all know that, because you got to go where the people are, right? The people that are interested in your offering, be it product or service. And hey, we understand that. But what we're talking about are foundational things that allow you to be able to do what you need to do no matter what your industry is. And so it's very important to keep in mind what we're doing. And he's talking about, obviously, when the longevity that bleeds in of your URL and how long it's been around. Think of it as this way, guys. We're talking about digital presence and growth, evergreen content, all that. Well, now we're getting into the territory of SEO, right? And what traditionally people thought was something that was a little separate from their advertising. And now that's definitely changed more and more over the years, but even more so now with the introduction of all these tools that allow you to do such wonderful things utilizing AI. A great example I want to show, obviously, because it kind of leads into this, is the ability for your small business to know about SEO in 2025. You got to really start. The first thing it mentions is SEO tools, and automation is the first thing on this list from smallbusinesstrends.com. And it is very important to remember that I know AI, I've been hearing this talk a lot about AI, people saying that AI is a bubble and it's going to burst and all this wonderful stuff. And I think people are, if you're focusing on the financial aspect, you may be correct, because there's a lot of people who have jumped on this because the barrier to entry is so low. But I think what you got to understand is that the effectiveness of what AI brings to the table is not what's under discussion here when it comes to that bubble being burst. We're talking about what it is capable of doing. And it is revolutionized what we do in this industry. And it's to the point now where you're literally having AI shape how people search to a large extent. Now, I know in the past we talked about hard numbers, but I want you to imagine now what it's going to look like, not right now, but in the future when everybody's used to getting an AI overview every single time they look on google.com for a search. I mean, as this thing becomes more and more used and utilized, Sean, don't you think that means that we're gonna start seeing a whole lot less people looking further than the overview and just going off that?
100%. 100%. I mean, it just in the way there was an article that I was reading about the way people are searching now. I mean, in the past they look at the top three, but the consumer is also becoming much smarter, and they understand more about how search engines work and so forth. I think in 2026, people are more concerned about, are you legit? Are you credible? What's your background? I mean, here's the other piece. Showing testimonials are great, but also case studies. I mean, that's one thing that Joe and I, you and I have done quite a bit. We have like 44 case studies because people want to, okay, great. You can build a website. Great. You can do marketing. Show us some work. Do you have companies you've actually worked with?
Right.
It's
about that trust aspect, right? Being
right,
proven right there.
Right. And with that being said, I think that, whenever you start doing paid campaigns, it needs to be very specific, and we'll use our mechanic shops as an example. I mean, there's two campaigns. There's an awareness campaign, really what you're focusing on, just letting people know that you exist. That's fine. You should do that. Definitely should do that. But the other campaign is focusing on, for example, oil changes, or in their particular situation. That's what paid ads are good for. Now, one thing that I will share with you when it comes to domain authority and how you can, so I think the question a lot of people ask me is, well, if I don't have a good, strong domain authority with my site because I don't have a lot of backlinks and so forth, what can I do to help establish that? Now, it does cost money, but it does work. So being on Trustpilot, paying for that. Being on the Better Business Bureau, paying for that. Other third-party companies such as, what's the other one, Joe? Just depending on, even, believe it or not, even Yelp. I'm not going to get into the paid advertising aspect with Yelp, but what they bring to the table is domain authority, because once you're linked and you're connected with that, and you'll get traffic from that too. So it automatically helps. So being able to be connected. For those of you that are doing specialty work, for example, like we do consulting, I do some work for Quoted. And with Quoted, a lot of times journalists that are out there in the industry that are looking for subject matter experts, they'll ask for information, and you can write an article on behalf of that, and they'll post in different websites. So, for example, we have an article on Forbes, which was actually about the top 10 printers in 2025, and that actually did a lot for us in terms of backlinks, because Forbes is well known. So those are the things that you can do to help grow your domain authority as well, in lieu of what Joe's showing here as well.
Of course. And I think that what I really wanted to point out in this article next was just how your conversational keywords, and more importantly, local SEO being so crucial now, is important for voice search and things of that nature. Again, guys, there's so many avenues now that you need to focus on, and it's impossible to do such a thing. That's why it's better to adopt practices that hit a lot of different places all at once, and that really is important. And because I'm looking at this thing right now, and I just want to call out the headlines. I don't even want to go over each section. I don't even want to talk about any of the details so much. SEO tools automation and the future of automation. AI and machine learning are shaping search results. Voice search is more relevant than ever. Mobile first indexing is no longer optional. And if you guys don't know what that is, you get familiar. And zero click searches are growing. And if you wonder what that is, guys, you're going to have to look at some of the content we've been putting out about that, because if we go over that, and quality content and EAT, like Sean mentioned, are still king. And there's more. We'll go, it's more important than ever, blah, blah, blah. But I think you guys get the idea, right? This is more important than ever to do exactly the things we're describing. And a lot of this stuff, hey, we've talked about ad nauseum all throughout 2024, 25. And we're going to keep talking about it. And more importantly, we're going to keep showing how best to do these things, because the tools have changed over time. But
So
what you need to do really hasn't as much.
I wanted to share some insights. So I was at a Christmas party. Someone came up to me, goes, "I saw your advertising. I saw your 12 days of digital presence. Wow, you guys must spend a lot of money on marketing." And I just smiled, because I said, "Hey, that's actually just, those are all free social media." And what Joe and I normally do, and as a matter of fact, prior to us meeting today for this podcast, we have it scheduled every month that we have about 6 to 12 different videos that we both do. And we take 1 hour, a block of time every month, just 1 hour. And he will be in his office and I'm in my office, and we will record. And then from there, we will schedule a post out on, I think you have the cadence, but on a weekly basis, Joe? Is it a weekly?
It's just every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks we create content.
Right.
And put it out.
Yep.
You know, and I can even, I'm happy to share an example of said content.
Yep.
Because I feel proof is in the pudding.
Right. And just to continue with that, so we schedule it out and we use automation tools. And of course, if you guys are interested in knowing more about that, we can definitely help you with that. But that's our strategy. And we do this month by month. And that's how we're able to continue being consistent with our work, because there's a lot of stuff going on. And I'll be honest with you, there are days where I look at Joe and I'm like, "Hey man, I really don't want to do this today, but I will force myself to do it, because we do it once, and then for the entire month, we are completely done with that. And then we can focus on other activities." So between that, then doing in-person networking, and of course we do the podcast, and then we share this, it goes a long way. It really does. So we don't just talk about it and preach it, but we actually do it. So I think Joe's going to show his part. So go ahead.
Yeah, let me quickly kind of make sure that, of course, it's actually going to let me share the screen. So 1 second.
Now, a lot of people will say, "Well, we don't have a Joe, right? I don't have a Joe with me." Well, the truth is you can have a Joe. Give us a call, and you can have a Joe.
Right? Exactly. So here's a YouTube video, and obviously, as you can see, it's a YouTube video. Okay, here you go. Let's do it.
Most people never even click on your website anymore. Google shows your reviews, heck, photos, hours, location, right inside the search results.
So customers make their decisions before they even click. This is called a zero-click search.
Then it means your Google Business profile is now your real homepage.
As you guys can see, it really is just down to, yeah, sure, there's some nice, pretty pictures in there, but the core things are there. Sean and I are talking about something. We're going back and forth with it, and it's one of our most recent posts that we put up there. And yeah, you know, we put it out on all the different channels. Like, we're talking all the different channels all at once, and we get engagement. Over time, we've built it, and on different channels especially, we've garnered a lot of new followers, and we've gotten business out of it. So it is really important that you guys develop some kind of cadence online. And guys, you know, yeah, sure, you know, we've got some beautiful content, looks real nice, but this device right here, maybe you don't know what it is. This device right here, you're going to be able to do a whole lot with it. So do it. It's at your fingertips. You just got to use a lot. You just got to use it, and more importantly, come up with a way to easily get everything on everything. That's it.
Is it? Is that it?
We're
No,
done.
there's more to it. So we really need to focus on what's coming up next, Joe. I know we're going to talk about this next time, but we have some new tools, especially when it's analyzing your visibility on search AI engines. That means ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, making sure that your name, your address, your phone number, all that great stuff about your company is legitimate and accurate. If you're going to sit there and try to wing it, you can't. So we're going to be talking more about the visibility aspect of that and what you can do to empower yourself, your business, and I was going to say loved ones, but if you got loved ones that got businesses, help them, right? That's the bottom line.
Really, look, it's important to understand that we're not saying don't do PPC advertising. Again, it's as Sean iterated before. I'll say again, it's about starting and stopping it and having it used for very specific reasons. I want you to vision pay-per-click as like a accelerator. Okay, it isn't bad. It's just not a foundation, right? You want to build a foundation.
It's charcoal starter. That's what it is.
Yes.
You squirt it on there and it works for 2 seconds and it goes away.
100%.
But you need the chimney. You need the chip. Sorry.
So for those that are just like, I still don't know what to use it for and what not to use it for. Fine. Here you go. Okay. Good PPC use cases. New business launch. Good use. Do it. Fantastic. Seasonal promotions. 100% do that. Absolutely. Short-term campaigns. Yes. Again, when we say start and finish, here's some bad uses. Okay. Replacing a weak reputation. Not going to happen. You're wasting your money. And they'll happily take it too, trust me. And masking poor visibility. Yeah, you can sit there and you can be an established business and definitely pretend like you're bigger, but you're just wasting your time and money. And of course, more importantly, no, do not use it as a long-term dependence strategy, which is kind of what comes from using it as a masking poor visibility strategy. You're always going to have to keep doing it, right? So those are good and bad use cases. Definitely keep that in mind. And now I just want to have everybody remember this. Let's go through a mental shift this year of instead of like, how much can I spend on ads, right? Pay-per-click and all that stuff. And instead ask, how visible and trustworthy is my business when ads are off? When nothing is happening on the advertising front. So you need to get there and make that actually make sense. If you guys all had a mini panic attack when I said that, I understand. Okay. Invest in review generation and responses. Okay. Listing management, social content systems, like we've been discussing, and automation for speed to lead. It's really good. And guys, analyst and make sure you can get those analytics and insights while you're doing this, so you can make sure it's actually doing what it needs to do, and give it the time to do it. If someone Googles you right now and doesn't click, that's a presence problem, not an ad problem. Okay. Sean, any other thoughts we would like to have on the discussion so far?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's about people executing and taking the information and moving forward with it. I mean, look, and here's the other piece I want to mention. This is not going to happen overnight. Building your credibility, your reputation, all that stuff takes time. But what Joe and I are trying to make you focus on is being consistent. So it is the first official month in the new year. Start now. And then by December of 2026, you will see the progression that you've made. And if not, you can wait till January of 2027 and start then, and we'll have this conversation again with different tools.
Yep.
You get the idea. So
absolutely.
So definitely start focusing on that and try to do a little bit. It goes a long way. It really does. So that's really all I would say.
Absolutely. And guys, the last thing I want to mention about all this that we really haven't talked about, because I know the next question is probably going to be like, well, how much does it all cost to do this? Guys, believe it or not, over time, this methodology costs far less than running ads. Okay. Not only is it more cost effective, you're going to get better results. You're going to consistently get more results over time the longer you do this. And there can be times where you're not spending any money and it'll still be working for you. Okay. So I still recommend reinforcing things, having a budget and spending it, but it has made drastic differences for many of our clients. And for those that have been consistent anyway. We got people who like to pull out too early. We always recommend not doing that. You're always going to have people like that. Just like you guys have people who are using your services, don't always see the value in it. But where the value comes in, guys, the value comes in is when you're actually doing the things that you need to do to be successful. And you're not going to just see the results. You're going to thrive in the results. Okay. So let's keep that momentum going for 2026. Let's change the mindset from paying for a whole bunch of clicky ads to maybe still having some clicky ads, but hey, it's only because I'm trying to run a 20% promotion during my busy season to make sure I get all the business market share, right? Well, that being said, feel free to reach out if you have questions. I put a QR code at the very top there. It's a nice new shiny QR code that StreamYards has blessed us with. And I definitely recommend, if you have questions, reach out to us through what's our Linktree link right there. And if you guys need any further clarification, we're not just happy to tell you about it. We're going to be thrilled to tell you all about it, because we're in the business of not just trying to sell you a service, guys. We're in the business of trying to make it better for you guys to survive out there, and not just that, thrive in our current environment. And I did mention StreamYards, guys. Feel free, if you're interested in using StreamYards, use the link right there to get $10 discount, I should say, straight from us and into your hands. It is a bit of a promotion for us, but hey, we love using this tool. It has been a godsend over having to use crazy tools like OBS and stuff like that, which, by the way, are awesome, but not for what we're doing. I'm in a totally different location than Sean right now, but we are having a podcast. Okay, so yeah, a lot more technical challenges if you're using other tools. So we love StreamYards for that. Other than that, guys, y'all have a wonderful rest of the month. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Until then, go crazy, but don't blow your money on all the ads all at once. Bye, guys.